Assam is also expected to get its first semiconductor plant from Tata stable. Now, this particular plant will be a packaging plant. It is valued at about 25,000 crore rupees. The money will come in from both Tata as well as state government. But Assam, a northeastern region, a difficult terrain, difficult geography, is getting a semiconductor plant.
And I think this is fabulous news, Shweta. And I just hope that, it doesn't get stuck in delays of approvals and sanction of land, etc. Because these, we know, are inherent challenges for any factory to be set up in the country. There are very few states which actually have that single window clearance and have that real ease of doing business when you compare the federal system in the country, where states operate in their own individual capacities. Now, the northeastern part of the country, Assam in particular, this has been a neglected area as far as industrialization is concerned. So, some steps being taken by the government, some steps being taken by the central government by way of that overall 76,000 crore rupee allocation for manufacturing of semiconductors. Some steps being taken by the state government will have to come in play because access to land is going to be absolutely critical. And then the multiplier effect is going to be humongous, because imagine the kind of jobs that residents of the state of Assam are going to get by virtue of a semiconductor factory coming there. Unfortunately, this semiconductor factory, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's good that it's coming up in some form at least, but it is still largely going to be a packaging and assembly unit only. There's not going to be pure play manufacturing. Pure play manufacturing, we are hoping with the tower semiconductors coming into the country, that should kick off some sort of a revolution. But overall, 25,000 crore rupees is likely to be the investment being made by Tata Electronics into the state of Assam for setting up this plant. But the overall outlay for that semiconductor project in the state of Assam is likely to be about 40,000 crore rupees. So it seems right now, looking at the numbers, that maybe the balance 15,000 crore rupees could come from either the state government or from the centre's semiconductor mission, which has allocated that 76,000 crore rupees. But yeah, I mean, the sooner we are able to move with the paperwork, with acquisition of land, and then getting that factory up and running, I think there are some lessons to learn from Micron, which within about a year of setting up, within a year of actually announcing its facility is going to pretty much start rolling out the first set of semiconductors, 18 months or so, if not within a year. So if Tata is able to move.
And Micron, perhaps end of this year is when we are expected to get that first semiconductor
Absolutely.
from
end of this year, early next year, I think is the timeline. But July 2023 is when Prime Minister met Sanjay Malhotra in the US and sort of, set the ball in motion. And within 18 months, we will have our first set of assembled, packaged semiconductors coming out of the conveyor belts. If Tata Electronics is able to move with the state government in Assam and with the allocation of the central government's allocated funds at the same pace, then yeah, I think another 18 months we should see a Tata branded, tested, assembled, packaged semiconductor also rolling out.
Okay, and in your editorial understanding, and I know we've discussed this far along in the newsroom, in the studio, as far as India, missing the bus when it comes to semiconductor revolution in the past couple of 5 years, has multiplied its efforts in the past 2 to 3 years, the results of which are finally out and about. We know Micron's semiconductor would perhaps be rolled out by the end of this year, but that's just one plant. We know Tower is interested. We know Tata is now setting up a variety of players who are getting on the bandwagon, Vedanta, Foxconn, trying to get that proposal out very, very soon. Do you think we have now reached a place where you are happy with the progress?
I'm not a semiconductor expert, so to speak, Shweta, but since you asked in my editorial opinion, and purely an opinion, I feel that while we are moving really fast in making sure that semiconductor manufacturing, stroke assembly, stroke packaging, stroke testing in some form is beginning to happen, I'm happy with that pace. What I'm scared about is that the rate at which semiconductor fab manufacturing has to take place to keep pace with the overall requirements of graphic processing units, which really go into crunching that data and really deciphering these large language models that go into making artificial intelligence happen, is something where India still has a lot of ground to cover.
Absolutely.
And until we get into manufacturing of our fabs and those very, very precision 20 nanometers and below circuitry, we will not be even a contender in running that AI race, where we know for a fact companies like NVIDIA in the US or Huawei in China and of course Foxconn in Taiwan have a much larger advantage over us.
They do, absolutely. But we're getting on the bandwagon. Finally, that is happening. There is some progress there. We're not calling it just as yet, but there is some progress when it comes to India's capabilities to make chips.